Hello and welcome to Arrow English. Today, we have a special story for you. A simple and fun story about Emma, a young woman who moves to a big city and learns how to live, work, and dream. This story is perfect for beginners who want to practice listening and learn English naturally. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy the journey with Emma. Emma was a young woman who had just moved to the city. She came from a small town with green hills, quiet streets, and friendly people. The city was big, bright, and full of noise. It was very different from her hometown. Emma wanted to start a new life. She wanted to find a job, meet new people, and learn to live on her own. When she arrived, she felt both excited and scared. She looked out the bus window as tall buildings passed by. Cars moved fast, and people walked quickly on the sidewalks. Everyone seemed to know where they were going. Emma did not. She found a small apartment on the third floor of an old building. The room was small, but it had a window that showed a part of the street below. There was a bed, a table, and a small kitchen in the corner. Emma placed her suitcase on the floor and took a deep breath. "This is my new home," she whispered with a small smile. That evening, she went out to buy some groceries. She walked into a nearby store. The bright lights and the sound of people talking made her nervous. She slowly picked up bread, milk, and a few apples. At the counter, the cashier smiled and said, "Hello." Emma smiled back, but she was too shy to say much. When she returned home, she made a simple meal. She sat by the window and watched the city lights shine in the dark. Cars passed, people laughed, and somewhere far away, music played. It felt strange, but also beautiful. Emma missed her family, her friends, and her small town. But she knew this was a chance to grow, to learn, and to change. That night, before sleeping, she looked at the stars through her window and said quietly, "Tomorrow, I will explore the city." The next morning, Emma woke up early. The city was already awake. Buses, bicycles, and people moving everywhere. She ate breakfast, put on her shoes, and stepped outside. The air smelled like coffee and bread. The sun was warm on her face. She felt ready for the day. She decided to walk without a map. She wanted to get lost and see where the streets would take her. She passed small cafes with people sitting outside, talking and laughing. She saw flower shops, bookstores, and children walking to school. After walking for a while, she sat on a bench in a small park. Birds sang in the trees, and children played on the swings. Emma smiled. For the first time, she felt calm. Maybe the city wasn't so scary after all. The next day, Emma woke up early. She made a cup of tea and sat near the window. Outside, the city was full of energy again. People were walking fast, buses were running, and shops were opening. Emma felt excited but also nervous. She needed to find a job. Her savings were small, and she knew she could not live without work for long. She opened her laptop and searched for jobs online. Many websites showed different kinds of work: shops, cafes, offices, and cleaning jobs. Most jobs asked for experience, and some needed good English. Emma's English was simple, but she could understand basic things. She decided to walk around the neighborhood and look for "help wanted" signs. She printed a few copies of her small resume and put them in her bag. Then she took a deep breath and left her apartment. The streets were busy, and the morning sun was bright. Emma passed a bakery that smelled sweet and warm. She smiled and walked inside. The baker, an older man with a white apron, said, Good morning. Emma smiled back. Good morning, she answered softly. She looked around the shop. There were many kinds of bread and cakes. She asked shyly, Are you looking for help? The man looked at her kindly. Maybe, he said. Do you have experience? Emma shook her head. Not really, but I can learn fast. He thought for a moment. Come back tomorrow, he said. We can talk. Emma thanked him and left the bakery with a small smile. She felt a little more confident now. She continued walking down the street. She saw a small bookstore. The smell of old books filled the air. Emma loved books. She went inside. The woman at the counter was arranging some books. Emma asked politely, Excuse me, are you hiring? The woman looked up and smiled. Not at the moment, dear, but you can leave your name. Emma wrote her name and phone number on a piece of paper. When she left the shop, she did not feel sad. She felt proud of herself. Each time she spoke to someone new, she felt stronger. At lunchtime, Emma sat in a small park again. She ate a sandwich and watched people around her. She saw office workers, children, and an old man feeding pigeons. The old man smiled at her and said, Nice day, isn't it? Emma nodded. Yes, it's very nice. His voice was friendly. They talked for a few minutes. He told her he came to the park every day to feed the birds. Emma liked listening to him. His words were simple and warm. That evening, Emma returned home tired but happy. She made some soup and listened to soft music. She thought about her day, about the bakery, the bookstore, and the park. She felt that maybe things were starting to move in the right direction. The next morning, she went back to the bakery as the baker had asked. He smiled when he saw her. You came back. Good, he said. He gave her an apron and asked her to help clean the tables. Emma started working carefully. She wiped tables, helped customers, and smiled a lot. The baker's wife showed her how to serve coffee and how to use the cash register. It was not easy at first, but Emma tried her best. By the end of the day, her feet hurt, but her heart felt light. The baker said, You did well today. You can come again tomorrow. Emma thanked him. It was her first real job in the city. She walked home as the sun went down. The sky was orange, and the streets were full of light. She stopped at a bridge and watched the water below. Her reflection looked back at her, smiling softly. That night, she wrote in her small notebook, Today, I started my new life. I am working now. I can do this. Emma turned off the light and went to sleep with a peaceful mind. Outside, the city hummed gently, like a song that never stopped. Emma woke up early again. The city outside was already alive. Cars, voices, and the smell of fresh bread from the bakery below. She smiled and got ready for another day at work. She put on her apron, tied her hair back, and walked quickly to the bakery. The morning air was cool, and the sun painted the buildings gold. When she arrived, the baker greeted her with a warm smile. Good morning, Emma, he said. Good morning, she answered. She began cleaning tables, preparing coffee, and arranging pastries in the glass case. At first, everything felt new and confusing. She sometimes forgot the prices or made small mistakes when giving change. But the baker and his wife were patient. They showed her how to do things slowly. Each day, Emma learned something new. She learned how to make perfect coffee foam. She learned how to pack bread quickly when there was a long line of customers. And she learned how to smile even when she was tired. The bakery was small, but full of life. In the mornings, people came rushing in for breakfast. They ordered coffee, croissants, and sandwiches. Some were polite, others were in a hurry. Emma liked to watch them. Each person was different. Some smiled, some frowned, some talked loudly on the phone. It was like watching hundreds of small stories pass by every day. One afternoon, during her break, Emma sat outside on the bench near the bakery. A young woman from the flower shop next door came out too. She was holding a small cup of tea. "Hi," the woman said kindly. "You work at the bakery, right?" "Yes," Emma said shyly. "I'm Lily. I sell flowers next door." "I'm Emma. Nice to meet you." They talked for a few minutes about the weather and their work. Lily had bright eyes and a cheerful voice. Before going back, she said, "Come visit me sometime. I'll give you a flower." Emma smiled. It felt nice to make a new friend. As days passed, Emma started to feel more comfortable in the city. She learned the bus routes, the names of nearby streets, and where to buy the cheapest vegetables. She also began to enjoy the little things: a warm cup of coffee before work, the sound of rain on her window, and the soft light of evening when the city began to quiet down. Sometimes she still felt lonely. She missed her family, especially her mother's cooking and her brother's jokes. But she called them every weekend. Her mother was proud of her and said, "You are doing so well, Emma. Be strong." Hearing those words made Emma smile. She felt a small spark of pride in her heart. She was building her own life, step by step. One rainy afternoon, there were few customers at the bakery. Emma stood near the window, watching people hurry with umbrellas. The baker's wife gave her a warm cup of tea. "You work very hard," the woman said kindly. "Thank you," Emma replied. The woman smiled. "When I was young, I also came to this city alone. It takes time, but one day it will feel like home." Those words stayed in Emma's mind. Maybe one day she would feel that too. That evening, she walked home slowly through the rain. She didn't have an umbrella, but she didn't care. The city lights reflected in the wet streets, making everything shine. She lifted her face to the sky and let the raindrops fall on her cheeks. For the first time, she felt free, really free. At home, she changed into dry clothes and made some tea. She sat by the window and looked out at the city again. It was noisy, messy, and full of strangers. But it was also full of dreams. Emma whispered to herself, "I can do this. I belong here." That night, she wrote in her notebook again, "I met Lily today. She was kind. I like my job. The city is big, but I am not afraid anymore." The next day, when she walked to work, she passed by Lily's flower shop. Lily waved and handed her a small yellow flower. "For you," she said. Emma smiled. "Thank you." She placed the flower in a small glass of water on the counter at the bakery. It made the place look brighter. Everyone who came in noticed it and smiled. And in that moment, Emma realized something important. Sometimes happiness is not in big things. It's in small moments. A smile, a kind word, a simple flower. Weeks turned into months, and Emma's life began to feel peaceful. Every morning, she woke up at the same time, made her tea, and walked to the bakery. The baker and his wife trusted her more now. Sometimes they let her open the shop alone. She had learned how to bake small cakes and prepare sandwiches. Emma worked hard, but she enjoyed her work. She liked the smell of fresh bread in the morning. She liked the friendly faces of regular customers who said, "Good morning, Emma," every day. It made her feel like she was part of something. At the end of each week, she received her pay. It wasn't much, but it was enough to pay her rent, buy food, and save a little. She started keeping a small jar on her table. Every week, she put a few coins inside. She called it her dream jar. When she looked at it, she imagined all the things she wanted to do one day. She wanted to visit the sea, to travel, to take English classes, and maybe to buy a camera. She liked taking pictures with her phone, especially of sunsets and streets. Photography made her see beauty in small things. After work, Emma often walked home slowly. She liked to stop by the park and sit for a while. Children played, dogs ran, and the sound of laughter filled the air. Sometimes Lily, her friend from the flower shop, joined her. Lily always had something funny to say. She talked about her customers, her flowers, and her dreams too. She wanted to open her own shop one day, a bigger one with plants and decorations. Emma loved listening to her. Lily's energy made her feel hopeful. One Friday evening, after closing its bakery, Emma and Lily decided to have dinner together. They went to a small restaurant on the corner. It was simple but cozy, with warm lights and quiet music. They ordered pasta and shared stories about their lives. Emma told Lily about her small town, the hills, the markets, and the nights full of stars. Lily listened with interest. "It sounds peaceful," she said. "Maybe one day you can take me there." Emma laughed. "Yes, I would love that." They talked for hours, and when they walked home, the streets were almost empty. The air was cool, and the city lights reflected on the wet pavement. For Emma, it was a perfect evening. Later that night, Emma sat by her window as always. She thought about her life in the city. How much had changed since her first day. She still missed her family, but she didn't feel lost anymore. She had work, a friend, and a simple dream jar that gave her hope. On Sundays, her only day off, Emma liked to explore new parts of the city. Sometimes she visited museums or sat in cafes to watch people passing by. Other times, she went to the local market to buy fruits and flowers. She liked to listen to the sounds, people talking, music playing, and street vendors calling out their prices. It made her feel alive. One Sunday afternoon, Emma saw a sign near the library. It said, "Free English conversation classes, every Saturday morning." Her heart jumped a little. She had wanted to improve her English, but she couldn't afford paid lessons. This class was free. She wrote down the time and place. The next Saturday, she went there. A kind teacher named Mr. Brown welcomed everyone. There were students from many countries, people from Spain, Brazil, Japan, and more. Everyone was shy at first, but the teacher made them laugh. They practiced simple conversations, greetings, talking about hobbies, and describing their days. Emma enjoyed it very much. She realized that learning English could be fun. After the class, she talked with two students, Maria from Spain and Tom from Germany. They exchanged phone numbers and decided to meet again next week to practice together. For Emma, this was a big step. She had always been shy when speaking English, but now she felt more confident. She started using new words at work too. When customers thanked her, she answered with a cheerful, "You're welcome. Have a nice day." The baker noticed her improvement. "You are speaking better every day," he said kindly. Emma smiled. I'm trying. I go to free English classes now. That's wonderful, said the baker's wife. You are growing, Emma. That's how life should be. That night, Emma opened her notebook and wrote, I started English lessons today. I met new friends. I feel proud of myself. She looked at the jar on her table. It was half full of coins now. She whispered softly, One day, I will use this for something beautiful. Outside, the city lights twinkled like stars. Emma smiled and turned off the lamp. Her room was small, but her heart felt full. Emma had been working at the bakery for a few months now. She liked her job and felt proud of what she could do. She had learned to make sandwiches, prepare coffee, and arrange pastries neatly. She had even started helping the baker with simple tasks in the kitchen. But life in the city was not always easy. One busy morning, the bakery was full of customers. The line was long, and people were speaking quickly. Emma tried to take orders, give change, and serve coffee at the same time. Suddenly, she spilled a cup of coffee on the counter. Oh no, she whispered. A customer looked upset, and a few people stopped and stared. Emma's cheeks turned red. She felt nervous and embarrassed. The baker came quickly. It's okay, Emma. Don't worry, he said. He cleaned the counter with a smile and helped her serve the customers. Emma took a deep breath. She realized that mistakes happen. She continued working carefully and slowly. By the end of the morning, the bakery was quiet again. Emma felt tired, but also stronger. She had faced a difficult situation and survived. After lunch, she went outside to walk for a few minutes. She saw a small cafe with people sitting and chatting. She thought, maybe one day I can speak English as easily as them. On her way home, she met Lily, her friend from the flower shop. Hi, Emma. How was work today? Emma smiled. Busy. I made a mistake this morning. But it's okay. Lily nodded. Mistakes happen. You just need to learn from them. You are getting better every day. Emma felt better. She liked having a friend who understood her. They walked together to the park, talking about their day. The park was quiet in the afternoon, with birds singing in the trees. Emma felt calm and happy again. The next week, another challenge appeared. A new customer came to the bakery. He was polite, but spoke very quickly in English. Emma listened carefully. She tried to understand, but she missed some words. She felt nervous and worried that she would not serve him well. Then she remembered what she had learned in her English class. She took a deep breath and asked politely, Could you please say that again, slowly? The customer smiled. Of course. Thank you. Emma repeated the order carefully and served the coffee. The customer left with a smile. Emma felt proud. She realized that it was okay not to know everything. She could ask, learn, and keep trying. Confidence was not knowing everything. It was being brave enough to try. That evening, she walked home slowly. The city was full of lights and sounds, but she felt calm inside. She stopped by a small bridge and watched the river below. The water reflected the city lights like tiny stars. At home, she wrote in her notebook, I made mistakes, but I learned. I faced challenges. I am stronger now. Emma also thought about her dream jar. She added a few more coins and smiled. Every small step, every small success brought her closer to her dreams. On weekends, Emma continued going to her English class. She met Maria, Tom, and other students. They practiced conversations, shared stories, and helped each other. Emma felt happy to have friends who supported her learning. She also discovered new places in the city. Sometimes she visited small museums. Sometimes she walked by the river and watched the boats. Sometimes she bought a small cake from another bakery to try something new. She realized that living in the city was not just about work. It was also about learning, exploring, and enjoying simple things. Even challenges could teach her important lessons. By the end of part 5, Emma had grown in small but important ways. She was learning patience, courage, and confidence. She knew that life would still bring difficulties, but she also knew she could face them. Before sleeping that night, she looked at the yellow flower Lily had given her. She whispered softly, "I am learning. I am strong. I can do anything, step by step." Outside, the city hummed quietly, a gentle reminder that life goes on. Emma closed her eyes, ready for another day, another step, another challenge. Emma's life in the city was slowly becoming comfortable. She had her job at the bakery, her English classes, and her little dream jar. But the city was big, and there were still many things she wanted to explore. One Saturday morning, Emma decided to take a longer walk around the city. She wanted to see new streets, small shops, and parks she had not visited before. The sun was bright, and the air smelled fresh and clean. As she walked, she saw a small cafe she had never noticed. The sign said, "Books and coffee, a quiet place to read." Emma loved reading. She smiled and decided to go inside. The cafe was cozy and quiet. There were books on the shelves, soft music playing, and the smell of fresh coffee in the air. A young man behind the counter greeted her. "Hello? Would you like a coffee?" "Yes, please," Emma said softly. She ordered a cup of tea and a small cake. Then she sat by the window and looked outside. The city was busy, but inside it felt calm and peaceful. While reading a small book she found on the shelf, Emma noticed a young woman at another table. She smiled at her, and the woman smiled back. Her name was Sarah. She was also a beginner in English, learning like Emma. They started talking slowly. Sarah said, "I like this cafe. It is quiet. I can read and practice English." Emma nodded. "Me too. I like reading." They laughed softly and shared their favorite books. Soon, Sarah and Emma decided to meet at the cafe every Saturday. They practiced English, talked about their lives, and shared small stories. Emma felt happy. Making friends made the city feel warmer. During the week, Emma continued to work at the bakery. She also noticed small things she had not before. The way the light fell on the street in the morning, the laughter of children, and the smell of bread baking. One evening, after work, Lily invited Emma to visit a small art gallery. "It is free today," Lily said. "You will like it." Emma agreed. They walked together to the gallery. The gallery was full of paintings and photographs. Emma loved the pictures of city streets and nature. She felt inspired. Maybe one day she could take photos too, not just with her phone, but with a real camera. After the gallery, they walked home slowly. The streets were quiet, and the city lights reflected in the puddles from a recent rain. They talked about their dreams and their plans for the future. Emma felt a little more confident. She was learning not just English, but how to live in the city. The next week, at the bakery, Emma had a new responsibility. The baker asked her to help manage the schedule for workers. At first, she felt nervous. "Can I do this?" she thought. But she tried her best. She wrote down the names of workers, their shifts, and the hours carefully. She double-checked everything and asked questions when she was unsure. By the end of the week, the baker said, "Well done, Emma. You are responsible and careful." Emma felt proud. She realized that small responsibilities, small actions, and small friendships made her stronger every day. She was learning, growing, and slowly making the city her home. That weekend, she added more coins to her dream jar. She whispered softly, "Step by step, I am getting closer to my dreams." As she walked home that evening, Emma noticed children playing near the fountain. Their laughter was light and free. She smiled and thought, life can be simple and happy if we notice small things. At home, she wrote in her notebook, "I met Sarah. She is my new friend. I visited the gallery with Lily. I am learning to live in the city. I am proud of myself." Emma placed her notebook on the table next to her dream jar. Outside, the city hummed softly, a gentle reminder of life's small adventures and possibilities. Emma had been living in the city for almost a year now. She knew the streets, the buses, and the shops. She felt more confident, but life still had surprises for her. One morning, she woke up early. She wanted to explore a part of the city she had never visited before. She packed a small bag with water, a notebook, and her phone. She wore comfortable shoes and walked to the bus stop. The bus ride was long, but Emma enjoyed it. She looked out the window and watched the city wake up. People were walking to work, children were going to school, and small cafes were opening. When she arrived, she found a quiet street with small shops and cafes. It felt different from the busy streets near her apartment. The buildings were old but beautiful, with flowers on the balconies. Emma smiled. This part of the city is like a small village inside the big city. She walked slowly, noticing small details. A man was painting a wall with bright colors. A woman was feeding cats near a cafe. Children were laughing as they ran down the street. Emma found a small park with benches and flowers. She sat down and wrote in her notebook, "The city is big, but there are small places that are peaceful." While she was writing, a young boy came to her. He asked softly, "Are you drawing?" Emma smiled. "No, I'm writing." The boy looked curious. "Can I see?" Emma showed him a page. He nodded and ran back to play with his friends. Emma laughed softly. She liked small surprises like this. After the park, she visited a small market. She bought fresh fruit and a loaf of bread. The sellers were friendly and spoke slowly with her. She practiced her English, asking questions and thanking them politely. On her way home, Emma thought about how much she had grown. A year ago, she was shy and nervous in the city. Now she could walk alone, speak to strangers, and explore new places. At the bakery, she had new responsibilities too. She sometimes helped the baker plan the week, organize deliveries, and talk to suppliers. It was not easy, but she liked learning new things. Her friends, Lily and Sarah, noticed her confidence. "You have changed, Emma," Lily said one evening. "You are brave and independent." Emma smiled. "It took time, but I am learning." Sometimes challenges still appeared. One day, a large order came to the bakery, more than usual. Emma felt nervous. She had to help make dozens of sandwiches and pack them quickly. She took a deep breath and started working step by step. She counted the sandwiches, checked the bread, and packed everything carefully. By the end, the order was ready, and the customers were happy. Emma realized that challenges were not scary anymore. She could face them one by one and learn from each. That night, she added coins to her dream jar. She whispered, step by step, small steps every day. Before sleeping, she looked at her notebook and wrote, I explored a new part of the city today. I met a little boy in the park. I handled a big order at work. I am learning and growing. Outside, the city lights shone softly. Emma felt calm and happy. She was not just living in the city anymore. She was starting to belong to it. Emma had been living in the city for more than a year. She felt confident in her daily life, but she wanted to grow even more. One morning, she woke up with a new idea. She wanted to improve her English faster. She wanted to speak fluently with customers, teachers, and friends. She checked her notebook. On the top of the page, she wrote, I want to speak English well. I want to grow and learn. Emma decided to spend more time practicing English. She read small books, listened to English podcasts, and watched videos online. She practiced speaking in front of the mirror, repeating new words and sentences. At the bakery, she tried speaking more to customers in English. She asked questions, answered politely, and used new words she had learned. Some customers smiled and complimented her. Emma felt proud. Her English class with Mr. Brown also became more interesting. She could now participate in conversations, ask questions, and share her stories. Sarah and Maria were happy to practice with her. Together, they laughed at mistakes and celebrated small successes. One day, Emma decided to visit the library. She had never been there for a long time. The library was quiet, with tall shelves full of books. She found books about photography, travel, and life in the city. Emma realized she had many dreams. She wanted to travel, take photos, and maybe write her own stories one day. Her dream jar was growing, and each coin felt like a small step toward her bigger dreams. Life was not perfect, though. One evening, a customer at the bakery was unhappy with a sandwich. He spoke quickly, and Emma could not understand him completely. She felt nervous and worried. Then she remembered what she had learned. She smiled politely and said, I am sorry. Can you tell me again slowly? The customer repeated, and she solved the problem carefully. Afterward, she realized that every mistake was a chance to learn. After work, Emma walked home slowly. She passed the park and saw children playing and families talking. She sat on a bench for a while, thinking about her life. A year ago, she had been scared and shy. Now she could work, speak English, meet friends, and explore the city. She had learned to be patient, confident, and brave. That weekend, Emma visited Lily and Sarah. They shared their dreams and encouraged each other. Lily wanted to open a bigger flower shop. Sarah wanted to travel and study art. Emma shared her plans to take photography classes and visit new places. They laughed, shared stories, and felt happy together. Friendship, Emma realized, was one of the most important things in life. That night, Emma added coins to her dream jar and whispered softly, I am learning. I am growing. I will follow my dreams. Before sleeping, she wrote in her notebook, My English is improving. I visited the library. I have many dreams. I am not afraid anymore. Outside, the city lights shone like small stars. Emma smiled. She felt calm, happy, and ready for the future. She was no longer just living in the city. She was learning, growing, and dreaming bigger every day. Emma had grown confident living in the city. She knew her way around, could speak better English, and had good friends. But life sometimes brought surprises. One Monday morning, she arrived at the bakery and saw a note on the counter. The note said, "The bakery will participate in a city fair this weekend. All staff must help." Emma felt nervous. She had never worked at a fair before. There would be many people, music, and busy streets. She wondered if she could manage. She took a deep breath. "I can try. I will learn." Throughout the week, Emma prepared. She practiced making sandwiches faster. She learned how to pack pastries carefully for travel. She even helped the baker make a small poster for the fair. When Saturday came, the bakery set up a small booth in the city square. It was crowded with people, music, and lights. Emma felt nervous again as dozens of people lined up at the counter. But she remembered everything she had learned: patience, calm, and step-by-step work. She smiled at each customer, served coffee and sandwiches, and answered questions politely. Some customers spoke quickly, but she asked them to repeat slowly. She realized she could manage, even under pressure. By the afternoon, Emma felt proud. The bakery owner complimented her. "You did very well, Emma. You are strong and capable." Emma smiled. She had faced a challenge and succeeded. After the fair, she walked home slowly. The city square was quiet now, and the lights reflected on the wet pavement. She thought about the experience. Sometimes challenges and small risks helped people grow. That evening, she visited Lily at her flower shop. They talked about the fair and shared funny stories. Lily laughed and said, "I knew you could do it." Emma laughed too. Friendship made her feel supported and happy. The next week, Emma noticed a small advertisement in the library. "Photography workshop, beginners welcome." Her heart jumped. She had always loved taking photos with her phone. Maybe she could learn more about photography. She hesitated. "Can I do this? I am busy with work." Then she thought, "I can try. I will learn something new." She signed up for the workshop. It was her first step toward a new skill and a new dream. At the bakery, she continued her work confidently. She could now handle busy mornings, difficult customers, and new responsibilities. She even helped train a new worker who joined the bakery. Her English was better than before. She could now talk to customers, ask questions, and even tell small stories. That weekend, Emma attended the photography workshop. The teacher, a kind woman named Ms. Helen, showed simple ways to take pictures. Emma learned about light, angles, and simple editing. She took her first photo of the city square. It was not perfect, but she was proud. On her way home, she walked slowly, thinking about the day. She realized that trying new things, even when nervous, brought joy and growth. That night, she added coins to her dream jar. She whispered, softly, "I faced a challenge. I tried something new. I am growing." She wrote in her notebook, "The fair was busy. I served many people. I started photography class. I am learning every day." Emma looked out the window. The city lights twinkled like small stars. She felt calm, happy, and ready to face new challenges. She knew life would bring more surprises, but she was learning to handle them with courage. She smiled and closed her eyes, ready for another day in the city. Emma had lived in the city for more than a year and a half. She had grown in ways she never imagined. A year ago, she had been shy, nervous, and unsure about life in the big city. Now she had friends, a job she enjoyed, new skills, and dreams for the future. One calm evening, Emma sat by her window. The city lights glimmered, and the streets below were quiet. She held her notebook in her hands and smiled. She remembered her first day in the city, the tall buildings, the noise, the crowded streets, and how scared she had been. She thought about the bakery, Lily, Sarah, and the little steps she had taken every day. Her dream jar was now nearly full. Coins and small notes reminded her of her journey. Every small step, every small success. She could see how patience, courage, and determination had brought her here. Emma opened her notebook and began writing. I came to the city alone. I was scared. I made mistakes. I faced challenges. I met kind people, learned English, and explored the city. I found joy in small things. I am stronger, braver, and ready for the future. She smiled and looked at the yellow flower Lily had given her months ago. It was still in a small glass of water on her table. It reminded her that life could be simple and beautiful. The next morning, Emma woke up early. She felt calm and happy. She went to the bakery, greeted the customers with a bright smile, and worked carefully. She felt proud of the person she had become. After work, she visited the library and borrowed a few books about photography and travel. She met Sarah and Lily at the cafe later. They laughed, shared stories, and talked about future plans. Emma realized that life was richer because of friendship and shared experiences. On weekends, she continued attending the photography workshop. Her skills improved, and she began taking pictures of the city she loved. Each photo told a story: the streets, the people, the lights, and the small moments of beauty. Emma also began saving more in her dream jar. She dreamed of traveling, taking photography classes, and maybe writing her own small book about life in the city. She knew it would take time, but she was ready. One evening, sitting by the window again, Emma reflected on her journey. I came to the city scared and alone. I worked hard, learned, made friends, and grew stronger. Life is not always easy, but every challenge is a chance to grow. I am proud of myself. I am ready for new dreams. The city outside hummed quietly. Lights shone like tiny stars, and the streets were alive with stories. Emma smiled. She felt at peace. She had found her place in the city. Her journey was not over. There would be more challenges, more adventures, and more lessons to learn. But Emma knew one thing clearly. She was capable, she was brave, and she could follow her dreams, step by step. She placed her notebook next to the dream jar, turned off the lamp, and lay down. Outside, the city whispered softly, a reminder of life, hope, and new beginnings. And Emma slept with a calm heart, ready for another day, another step,